Good morning, students. Today I am going to teach you chapter Lost Spring. This chapter is written by Enes Jung. So, students, in this lesson, the writer describes the pitiable condition of poor children who have to live in slums and work hard in very dirty conditions. So, in this chapter, the writer describes about the pathetic condition of poor children, pitiable condition of poor children who live in slums and they have to work very hard and they lead a very miserable life. So they are never sent to school because their parents are too poor to pay for their education. So they are not sent to school because the condition of their parents is very worst. They are too poor. They are not able to get education. Their parents are not able to pay their fees. In order to describe their lot, the writer first takes up the case of poor rag pickers who have settled in Simapuri area of Delhi. So, first of all, the writer describes about rag pickers who are settled in Simapuri area of Delhi. Then she takes up the case of the poor bangle makers who have been living for generations in Dungy town of Firozabad. So the writer describes about bangle makers who have been living for generations in the dingy town of Firozabad. So the writer describes about rag pickers and bangle makers. These people have been exploited by all sections of society. So when he describes that these bangle makers are exploited by all sections of the society. While the elders have learned to live with their lot, the younger generation does not have some dreams of their own. So, so here the elders they have learned to live with their lot. So elders they have learned that they have to live with whatever they have, and the younger generation does not have some dreams of their own. So in the younger generation. They are not allowed to have any kind of dream. They want to get out of their family traditions and live a better life. So this younger generation want to get out from their family tradition and they want to live a better life. So this lesson is divided into two parts. The first part describes writer's impression about the life of poor rag pickers. In the first section, the writer describes about the life of rag pickers. And these rag pickers, they have migrated from Bangladesh and have now settled in Simapuri area of Delhi. So these rag pickers, they have migrated from Bangladesh and now they have settled in Simapuri area of Delhi. The second part describes about the miserable condition of bangle makers in the town of Firozabad. So let us discuss about first of all rag pickers, their life, how they live their life. So, first of all, let us discuss about rag pickers. The writer sees a boy named Sahib every morning in her neighborhood. So, in the beginning, the writer describes about a boy, Sahib, whom she sees every morning in her neighborhood. The boy looks for some coins or other things in garbage heap. So, every morning when the writer sees this boy, the boy looks for some coins or other in the garbage. So one day the writer talks to the boy. She comes to know that these people have migrated from Bangladesh. When the writer thinks to talk with this boy, and when she talks with this boy, she comes to know that these people, they have migrated from Bangladesh and their fields and homes were swept away by storm. So their homes and fields were destroyed by storms. They had nothing to eat. So they came to the big city and started living there. So the writer told Sahib that he should go to school. So the writer told Sahib that he should go to school. What Sahib said in reply to this to writer? Sahib said that there was no school in their neighborhood. Sahib said that there was no school in their neighborhood. At this, the writer said half jokingly, "If I start a school, will you come?" So when that Sahib said that there is no school, there was no school in their neighborhood. So the writer, in a mocking tone, in a joking tone, half jokingly, writer said that if he starts a school, Sahib will come to school. Sahib, what was the reply of Sahib? Sahib said that he would. Yes, Sahib said to the writer that definitely he will come to school. But the writer had to feel so small when a few days later Sahib asked her, "Is your school ready?" But the writer, when after few days Sahib asked the writer that is her school is ready. In fact, the writer had never meant it. So the writer felt very sorry, even small, when Sahib asked her that is your school ready. In fact, the writer had never meant it. In fact, this was writer said simply to Sahib. She asked simply to Sahib. There were a number of rag pickers like Sahib. So the writer describes that there were a number of rag pickers like Sahib. In few months, the writer came to recognize each one of them. So slowly, the writer came to know about all these rag pickers. They were all barefooted boys. So they were not having anything to wear like shoes or with some people it is a tradition to go barefoot. So with some people they were having a tradition that they will go barefooted, means without shoes or chappal. So perhaps they use it an excuse to conceal their poverty. So they were using this excuse that it's their tradition to go without shoes. That is just to hide their poverty. They used to say that this is their tradition. The writer comes to know that all these barefooted rag pickers live in Simapuri, which is on the periphery of Delhi. When she goes there, she finds that these people come from Bangladesh in 1971 and started living here in search of food. Then slowly writer came to know that they were living in extreme poverty, and these people, these rag pickers, they came to Simapuri from Bangladesh in 1971 and in search of food. They came here. They are about 10,000 of them. They live in structure of mud with roof of tin and terraplane. They live here without having facility of sewage, drainage or running water. So the writer describes about the condition, about poverty of these rag pickers, that how they are not having food to eat, even they don't have any facility of sewerage, drainage or running water. Even they were not having proper water to drink. Sahib tells the writer that sometime he finds a rupee or even a 10 rupee note in the garbage. So Sahib tells the writer that sometime, because in the beginning the writer says that he has found, when he sees a boy, Sahib, he was searching something in the garbage, in the heap of garbage, and this boy said that sometime he used to search 10 rupee or even a rupee in the garbage. Thus for children, garbage becomes something wrapped in wonder. So for them, again, this garbage is something that is very attractive, and they can search a rupee or coin in this. For the elders, it means of survival. For elders, it was a means for survival for them. One winter morning, the writer sees Sahib watching a game of tennis. So one morning, the writer sees this Sahib watching a game of tennis. Sahib says that he likes this game. So Sahib used to like this game of tennis. He is wearing tennis shoes discarded by some rich boy. So he is wearing tennis shoes which was discarded, which were now not used by a rich boy and given to him. But the game he is watching is out of his reach. So the game which he is watching, that is out of his reach. Sahib starts working at a tea stall. He's paid 800 rupees. Finally, Sahib starts working at tea stall, and he gets rupees 800 and he gets even meal. But now he is not free. He is no longer his own master. But as he started working, now he has no freedom of his own. Now he is a slave of his master, under whom he is working. So he is paid, he is given food, but he has to work under him and he is not free to enjoy his life of his own. So here इसके अंदर स्टूडेंट्स ये स्टोरी जो है 2 पार्ट्स में डिवाइड की गई है और इसके अंदर जो राइटर है उसने 2 पार्ट्स में इस स्टोरी को डिवाइड किया है। एक में उसने रैग पिकर्स की कंडीशन को बताया है, जो कि रैग पिकर्स बांग्लादेश से जिनके घर जो है तूफान की में डिस्ट्रॉय हो जाते हैं और उनके पास खाने के लिए कुछ नहीं बचता, और उसके बाद ये रैग पिकर्स जो हैं बांग्लादेश से दिल्ली के एरिया में सीमापुरी में जो है शिफ्ट होते हैं इन सर्च ऑफ फूड। तो राइटर जो है इसके रैग पिकर्स की लाइफ के बारे में बताते हैं कि उनकी लाइफ जो है बहुत गरीबी में है, उनके पास इवन दे डोंट हैव टू स्क्वेयर मील्स। और कई बार तो ये रैग पिकर्स, जैसे कि राइटर जो है बिगनिंग ऑफ द स्टोरी में ये बताते हैं कि वो राइटर जो है एक बच्चे जिसका नाम होता है साहिब उसे देखती है, वो हर रोज़ सुबह क्या करता है, एक गार्बेज की ढेरी में वो जो है कुछ ना कुछ ढूंढता है। कभी कभी उसे 1 रुपये मिल जाता है, कभी उसे 10 रुपीज़ मिल जाते हैं उस गार्बेज के हीप ऑफ गार्बेज में। तो उस गार्बेज में वो बच्चा जो है, मतलब उनके लिए ये गार्बेज जो है वो समथिंग अट्रैक्टिव बन चुका है ताकि शायद कुछ मिले और वो कुछ ना कुछ उससे खरीद सके। तो लोग जो है इनके पास प्रॉपर सीवरेज सिस्टम नहीं है, रैग पिकर्स इतनी डर्टी लाइफ जीते हैं, इतनी मिजरेबल लाइफ, इतनी पैथेटिक लाइफ, फुल ऑफ मिजरी, मतलब फुल ऑफ सैडनेस, इतनी गंदी लाइफ होती है इनकी कि बेचारे जब इस खाने की तलाश में बांग्लादेश से जो है दिल्ली के एरिया सीमापुरी में शिफ्ट होते हैं, लेकिन यहाँ ये ऐसी लाइफ जीते हैं इतनी गरीबी में। कई बार तो इन बेचारों के पास पहनने के लिए चप्पल तक नहीं होते, शूज़ तक नहीं होते, और ये ऐसे ही बेयर फुटेड घूमते हैं। और कई बार तो ये लोगों को अपनी गरीबी छुपाने के लिए ये भी कह देते हैं कि ये तो उनकी ट्रेडिशन है कि नंगे पाँव जाना, बेयर फुटेड चलना उनकी ट्रेडिशन है। ये सब वो अपनी गरीबी को छुपाने के लिए करते हैं। नेक्स्ट राइटर जो है वो साहिब बच्चे के बारे में बताती है कि किस तरह से साहिब जो है एक टेनिस की गेम खेलता है, सुबह उठता है तो पैसे की तलाश करता है गार्बेज के अंदर, और मतलब टेनिस की गेम उसे बहुत पसंद है, और कैसे वो टेनिस शूज़ पहनता है जो कि एक रिच बॉय के जो कि उसे एक रिच बॉय पहनता था, जो उसने अभी पहनने छोड़ दिए और इसको दे दिए। और टेनिस की गेम तो समझो उसकी पहुंच के इस गरीब बच्चे की पहुंच से तो बिल्कुल ही बाहर है। तो इसके अंदर उसने राइटर ने ये भी बताया कि धीरे धीरे साहिब जो है वो काम पे लग जाता है एक टी स्टॉल पे, वहाँ पे उसे 800 रुपीज़ पे किए जाते हैं और खाना भी दिया जाता है। लेकिन अब वो नो लॉन्गर अपनी लाइफ में फ्रीडम एंजॉय करने के लिए फ्री नहीं है, अब वो उसका मास्टर कोई और है उसकी लाइफ में। तो ओवरऑल फर्स्ट सेक्शन के अंदर जब राइटर ने रैग पिकर्स की लाइफ के बारे में बताया कि किस तरह से ये कूड़ा कचरा जो है इस ढेर में कुछ ढूंढते हैं, और जो एल्डर्स हैं वो तो इसी में ही कूड़े कचरे में ही अपनी ज़िंदगी मानते हैं, जिससे कि कलेक्ट करके वो अपना ज़िंदगी का गुजारा करते हैं। कि कितनी टफ कंडीशंस में इनकी लाइफ है, जो इनके पास पहनने को कपड़े नहीं है, खाना नहीं है, रहने के लिए घर नहीं है, छत नहीं है, पहनने को शूज़ नहीं है, चप्पल नहीं है। तो किस तरह से इनकी जो है लाइफ जो है बिना ड्रेनेज सिस्टम नहीं है, कोई सेवरेज सिस्टम नहीं है, कितनी टफ कंडीशंस में इनकी लाइफ जो है वो छुपी हुई है। देन नेक्स्ट सेक्शन में राइटर जो है उन बैंगल मेकर्स के बारे में हमें डिस्क्रिप्शन देता है कि बैंगल मेकर्स की लाइफ कैसी होती है। लेट्स सी व्हाट द राइटर डिस्क्राइब्स अबाउट दिस बैंगल मेकर्स। So the writer once meet a boy named Mukesh. Now the writer is telling us about a boy whose name is Mukesh. The boy lives in Firozabad and belongs to a family of bangle makers. So as in the first section, the writer has described about Sahib. Now in the bangle maker section, the writer is describing about a boy named Mukesh. He lives in Firozabad and he belongs to a family of bangle makers. Mukesh says that he does not want to go into the family profession. So Mukesh is not at all interested in his family profession. He has decided to become a motor mechanic. So what was his ambition? That he will become a motor mechanic. So every other family in Firozabad is engaged in making bangles. So there in Firozabad all were engaged in making bangles. It is the center of India's glass blowing industry. So the Firozabad, it is a center of India's glass blowing industry. Families have spent generations in making bangles. So here families after means generation after generation they were spending their generations, means one after the other generation is spending their lives in making bangles. So about 1,000 children work in this glass furnaces of Firozabad. They have to work in very unhealthy conditions. So now the writer is describing about those children who used to work in these factories, in these glass furnaces, and there means where they were working, their conditions were totally unhealthy. Their parents don't know that it's illegal to make children work in such places. Their parents were illiterate, and they even don't know that it's illegal to send, instead of sending them to school, they were sending them at workplace. So Mukesh offers to take the writer to his home. So Mukesh, he offers the writer to take. He offers to take the writer to his home. He takes the writer to his home. He proudly says that their house is being rebuilt. So he was proud when he says that their house is being rebuilt. When the writer goes there, she finds it is a half-built shack. So when the writer visits the house of Mukesh, it was half built. Inside there are everywhere signs of poverty. The writer can see everywhere there were signs of poverty. When he reached at the house of this Mukesh, a frail young man is cooking evening meal. So young man was cooking evening meal when he went to Mukesh's house. She is the wife of Mukesh's elder brother. So a frail young woman was cooking evening meal, and that woman was Mukesh's elder brother's wife. It was a woman, who was cooking meal, and Mukesh's father is also there. So there Mukesh's father was also there. He had been doing hard labor for years. So Mukesh's father was doing hard labor for many years. First he was a tailor, and then he became a bangle maker. Yes, yet he has failed to renovate his house. He could not send his two sons to school. He could not teach them the art of making bangles. So Mukesh's father was not able to send his both sons to school, and even he was not able to renovate the house, and he was not able to even teach his sons the art of making bangles. Mukesh's grandmother says that it was all in their destiny. So what was the opinion of grandmother of Mukesh? That it was all their fate, it was all their destiny. Her husband had gone blind with the dust from polishing the glass bangles. So this grandmother, Mukesh's grandmother's husband, means grandfather of Mukesh, they became blind when they were working in the when they were working in that glass furnaces, and he became blind because of the dust from polishing the glass bangles. So she says that they were born in the caste of bangle makers and have been nothing but bangles in their life. So she says that they have nothing extra in their life. They were born in the caste of bangle makers, and they have nothing but only bangles in their life. So boys and girls in such families have to work with their fathers and mothers. So it was their tradition that boys and girls, they will work with their father. They have to work in dark huntments. Their eyes are more adjusted to the dark than to the light outside. So she describes about the condition, that how they have to live their life, and how they have to adjust in darkness. In fact, their eyes got adjusted to darkness instead of light outside. Thus they lose eyesight even before they become adults. Even because of this darkness, they lost their eyesight and before they become adults. So the writer sees a girl named Savita in another hutment. She is sitting with an elderly woman. So now the writer describes about another person. She is a girl and her name is Savita, and she is sitting with an elderly woman and soldering pieces of glass. She does not know that bangles she is making are symbols of an Indian woman, Suhag. So this girl is sitting with an elderly woman, and she even don't know that these bangles which she is making, these bangles are a symbol of woman, so Suhag. The old woman sitting beside her still has bangles on her wrist. So the old woman who was sitting beside her, was still wearing bangles on her wrist, but there is no light in her eyes. But there is no glow, there is no light in her eyes. No light in her eyes means stands for there is no happiness in her life. She says that she has not enjoyed even one full meal on her life. So she describes that she has not even enjoyed one full meal in her life. Her old husband says that he knows nothing except bangles. So her old husband says that कि उसे bangles के अलावा किसी भी चीज़ के बारे में नहीं पता है. However, he feels some consolation to say that he has made a house for his family to live in. So overall, he feels satisfied with this, that he has made house for his family in which they all are living. The writer says that the cry of poverty rings in every home in Firozabad. So the writer describes about the miserable condition of these people, those who are living their life in Firozabad as a bangle maker. These poor people are exploited by sahukars, policemen, middlemen, bureaucrats and politicians. So these sahukars, policemen, middlemen, bureaucrats, politicians, they all exploit these people. They have come to accept their poverty and exploitation as something natural. So they come here and they accept their poverty and they are exploited by these people like policemen, middlemen, bureaucrats and politicians. The writer feels happy that Mukesh has decided to break away from this vicious circle. So the writer feels happy that feels happy when she comes to know about Mukesh's decision that he has decided to break this chain, that one generation after another will make bangles only. He has decided to go to a garage and learn the job of a motor mechanic, because it was the decision of Mukesh that he will become a motor mechanic. Thus he will one day be his own master. So that with this he will become independent. He will be his own master one day. He will not be depending on anyone else. So इसके अंदर ओवरऑल द बैंगल मेकर्स की लाइफ के अंदर राइटर ने जो है एक मुकेश नाम के बॉय के बारे में जो है हमें उसकी लाइफ के बारे में बताया है कि वो बॉय जो है फिरोजाबाद में रहता है और इसी बैंगल मेकर्स की फैमिली को बिलोंग करता है. लेकिन मुकेश जो है इस बैंगल मेकिंग के प्रोफेशन को अडॉप्ट नहीं करना चाहता. उसने जो है मोटर मैकेनिक बनने का जो है उसने जो है डिसाइड किया कि वो इंडिपेंडेंट बनेगा. और एक दिन क्या होता है कि मुकेश जो है बैंगल में राइटर को जो है अपने घर में लेके जाता है. जब राइटर उसके घर जाती है, मुकेश के घर, तो वो वहाँ पे क्या देखती है कि उसकी जो भाभी है वो जो है खाना बना रही है, जो उसके ब्रदर की वाइफ है. और जब जाके आगे जाता है तो राइटर उसकी दादी को देखता है, मुकेश की दादी को. और जो दादी जो है अपनी इन कंडीशंस के अपनी फैमिली और अपनी वर्स्ट कंडीशन के बारे में बताती है कि कैसे उसके हस्बैंड जो है उसके दैट इज़ ग्रैंड फादर ऑफ मुकेश, कैसे वो ब्लाइंड हो गए, उनकी आंखों में उस ग्लास की डस्ट चली गई थी.